Generally, when you think of UC, Unified Communications, oftentimes the first things that pop into your mind are, business telephone systems, unified messaging, some speech applications, call center applications. But one of the beauties of the CX platform from AVST is its extensibility to provide additional applications that go far beyond the normal functionality of the CX platform, which is primarily focused in a number of more traditional areas in the UC space. And we'll take a look at that as we go through this process. Now, and the reason that we have built the product to be so extensible and really stretch beyond just the basic applications that we provide, it really has to do with the marketplace. As the main independent analyst of technology overall, take a look at the marketplace and interview the people that have to manage the IT infrastructures for organizations. One of the things that they have discovered is, making business processes more efficient is a high priority for many senior managements within many enterprises out there. And being able to have technology and deploy technology within your enterprise that takes business processes and makes them more effective and makes them more accessible not only to your employees but also to your customers as they are interacting with your company, can really be a very powerful outcome that can be delivered by IT organizations and managements to the enterprise. So the term CEBP is one that's bandied about when you start talking into this realm. And what that acronym stands for, the IT and voice communications are ripe with acronyms, and we have a million of them. But the CEBP stands for Communication Enabled Business Process. What that really means is it's adding one more link to business processes to make that more accessible. There are a lot of ways that business processes operate that are accessible to the people that need to get a hold of them. Things like calling in, talking to a call center, logging on with your laptop, and getting information from web interfaces. For employees, logging in and getting them by accessing servers on the network and getting a display of that information on their workstations. But adding a communications front end to it can really add an additional component to it that can significantly optimize access to and control over many business processes and access to data that is within your enterprise. Currently, in many enterprises, there's significant silos that exist. You have the communication on one side, and you have the data and the processes to access and manage that data really kind of stand separate from each other. And in many cases, bridging that gap can be an extraordinarily expensive proposition. Oftentimes ranging up into the hundreds of thousands of dollars to bridge those two gaps. But with the CX platform, we've developed tools that we'll discuss today that can really reduce the human latency by automating these processes with the communications front end, and can do it generally for a fraction of the cost of traditional methods for providing those types of services. Now, these tools that we're going to be discussing today are built on the AVST Unified Communications Platform, the SCXE platform, formerly called Call Express. So those of you that are familiar with our organization and familiar with our products know we have traditionally called the product Call Express. It went through kind of a rebranding earlier this year. It is now known as the CXE platform. But the platform itself is really built on these four piers that you see here. And the capabilities and functionality surround these four general areas. You see voice, which really covers the traditional applications of a system like ours, of voicemail, call processing, automated attendance, some fax applications, things like that. The more traditional things, the things that you have currently in your Octel system, within your Intuity Audix system, some of those older legacy systems, Centigrams, things like that. It's providing significant advancement in the features available to those basic applications. Mobility is a strong driver within the unified communications business space. And we've had a number of webinars discussing the various mobility features available within the CX platform. Things like unified messaging, personal assistant, which provides mobile users dramatically increased access not only to back-end information, but also providing some very advanced capabilities for callers and people within the enterprise to be able to get a hold of them and give them intelligence and effective ways to handle those calls. Speech interfaces, mobile clients, any number of applications and capabilities for your mobile users. Our ability to interoperate with virtually any environment. And this is one of the things that really sets us apart from many competitive solutions out in the marketplace today, is the interoperability that we have. We're not owned by a PBX manufacturer. We don't make routers and switches and telephones. And our ability to be able to integrate tightly into the various communications platforms that you have in place today, whether it's a 20-year-old Nortel PBX or a current state-of-the-art Cisco or Avaya platform or ShoreTel platform. We have the ability to interoperate with whatever platforms you have, whether it's a telephony platform, email environments, things like that, allowing for transitions from traditional TDM to more advanced IP technologies. Intelligence gateway for the Microsoft Link applications, even extending that far into the newer technologies that are out there, allowing us to fit into whatever your environment looks like today, and the assurance that we'll be able to provide that same level of interoperability with whatever your environment looks like tomorrow. But the fourth pillar that we're talking about today is the UC business processes. And these are the capabilities that allow the CX platform to extend far beyond itself into other applications. Now, there's a couple of levels that we have for providing business efficiencies within the CX platform, within the AVST platform. Level one, of course, being the basic automated attendance, whether that is through DTMF, the traditional DTMF interface, or through a very advanced speech application. Allowing callers to come into your enterprise and be able to connect and get the information that they need and to connect to the people that they need very quickly and efficiently, making your business much easier for your callers to do business with. And Schedule Express, a module that can be added to any CX platform to very easily be able to handle very diverse and complex scheduling of those automated attendant menus based on time of day of week, holiday schedules, things like that. From very basic to very robust, complex scheduling. The Schedule Express gives you the ability to do that. Extending on up into level two, allowing us to, we provide a number of open APIs, and we'll talk about those coming up, that allow us to develop for you, or you to develop internally, some very customized applications to meet your specific business process needs. Information access and delivery, notification, outbound notification of events, things like that. Triggering events based on back-end actions and back-end events, triggering information and actions based on those events, but really customized to your specific environment, to your specific application requirements. Not being locked into just one or two ways of doing it as it is with fixed applications, but allowing it to be extensible to really meet the needs of your enterprise and your organization in ways that are very unique. We have two APIs available to provide this extensibility. The UC Connect module, an optional module that can be added to any AVST platform, which allows for, think of this as a kind of a traditional IVR type application, although it has capabilities to extend beyond that to a great extent. But this is traditional IVR type applications at a very cost-effective price point, being able to allow callers to call into your enterprise, interact with back-end databases, and get the information that they need, be able to transact business with your organization without necessarily the need for human intervention and the human latency that sometimes that can induce. Now, of course, we're certainly not cutting off callers from being able to get to humans if that is an appropriate way to go. Obviously, our call processing engine can do that. But having this be a fully integrated module of the CX platform means that you can develop the application to treat your customers in whatever manner you wish to treat them. Whatever way is the most effective way to deliver the information to the caller, you can develop within the application itself. We also offer a SOAP XML web services API that allows for back-end applications to be able to interact and have control over the messaging and call control and administrative engines within the CX platform. And oftentimes the combining of these two APIs can provide very powerful applications that not only handle front-end information and triggering of applications, but also back-end as well. The development environment for either one of these is the Microsoft .NET development environment. We operate as a standard third-party plugin within that environment. So any developer that you have on staff that is familiar with C++, Visual Basic, any of the .NET development environments can utilize these APIs to deliver applications in a very cost-effective manner to your enterprise. Now, at this point, I think we're ready with that being said, to take our first poll. Emily?
Okay, thank you, Dick. So for our first poll, let me just go ahead and bring it up. We're curious if you have any in-house IT resources to create a custom application. So we'll just wait a couple seconds here and get everyone's votes. Okay, and it looks like most everyone has voted. So the results are about 62% have said yes, and 38% have said no.
Very good. That's actually great for those organizations. Those 2/3 of the organizations out there have the skills within the enterprise to be able to develop them on their own. One of the professional services offerings that we offer, though, for those that that do not have that skill set, or maybe those developers are busy on other projects. We have a group of people within AVST that you can contract with on a professional services basis in order to develop those applications for you. And the head of that group is Marty Johnson. And I'm going to turn it over to Marty right now because we're going to start talking about a couple of applications that he has actually been involved in. He and his group have been involved in to deliver these types of solutions for a number of different enterprises. So, Marty, take it away.
Thanks, Dick. Yes, my name is Marty Johnson. I'm the EC Connect Application Development Manager here at AVST. And as Dick mentioned, we're going to take the next few slides to go over a few of the custom applications and capabilities that we've implemented in some different vertical markets in the past using our UC Connect and Web Services APIs. And the first vertical that we're going to talk about is county government, and in particular a large county government that's been a long time CX Call Express user. And as we can see there, it is a very large county, 1.9 million people and growing. And they have, over the years, probably the past 10 years, implemented several different solutions on the CXE platform using UC Connect and our Notify Express module. Just to touch on each one of these briefly, there's a polling place locator that allows voters to type in some information and find out where they are to report for voting. A couple of notification applications using Notify Express to get the word out to tens of thousands of voters on a new voting process, or also issues with absentee ballot signatures. There's a river flow information application. There's a number of rivers in this county that throughout the year have various different flood warning levels and flow levels. People can call in and get U.S. Geological Survey data actually from monitoring stations on those rivers. Property tax information. Property owners within the county can call in and input a property parcel number and receive information about their property taxes due and amounts, and request a new copy of their statement, that sort of thing. And then finally, a missing pet information. The county provides pet licensing, and for pets who are lost and have one of these licenses, the license has an 800 number on it and an ID number, and whoever finds the pet can call into this service and essentially get the telephone number, some information about the pet owner so they can get it back to the right place. And one thing to note about all these applications is that they weren't put in at the same time. They were put in over time, over like I say, maybe a 10-year period or even longer. And that's kind of one of the interesting phenomenon. What is, once this kind of technology gets in place and an end user can see how it can help them either make a business process more efficient or provide wider access to it, often will find more uses for it within the organization. And as this slide shows, what's the first thing that you look for when you're looking for a UCBP type of a solution? Well, what is the business challenge? In the case of the county here, they had a business challenge, government challenge of people finding the nearest polling location, and they found that they would get a lot of telephone calls into their elections department, people asking, hey, where do I go cast my ballot? So we were able to implement a solution that can free up the elections operators for more important tasks, maybe more specific help that some of the voters needed, by implementing a polling place locator application, where again the voters can call in, input some information about their address and their zip code, that sort of thing, and receive information about where their nearest polling place is. Another one was informing voters of a new mail voting process. They needed to get the word out, in addition to mailings and advertisements and things. They wanted to actually call all, 100,000 plus voters to give them a message and remind them of a new voting process, and to actually do that by hand, manually would have taken them quite a bit of time. So they were able to implement a Notify Express solution and get that customized, and they provided a whole list of their voters' telephone numbers along with the message they wanted to play, and Notify Express shot those messages out within, was it several days or maybe a week. It was actually able to contact and place telephone calls to all the registered voters. And the third challenge listed here was with this new mail voting process and absentee voting processes in general, there's often signature challenge issues where the signature doesn't match the signature on record, or the ballot is unsigned, that sort of thing. So they wanted to be able to contact, and in fact I believe it was federal regulation that they needed to contact these voters, these absentee voters, by phone, within a certain number of days after the election, to inform them of the signature problem with their absentee ballot. So they were able to provide some back-end data on the voter telephone numbers and what the problem with the absentee ballot was, and they provide that information to Notify Express, which contacts each of the individual voters and tells them that there's a problem with the ballot and what the problem was, and gives them information about how to resolve that problem. And so, like I said, when they have, in their organization a future challenge, something that lends itself to some degree of automation, they have the AVST CXE platform in mind as something that can help them solve that problem, or at least ease it for internal resources. And the next vertical is healthcare. This is another target vertical of ours. The case study here was a major hospital emergency response organization, been around for quite a long time, and they had an issue with some field healthcare workers, people that would go out to patients' residences and provide health care to those patients. And this organization wanted to allow these field service workers to be able to access their schedule for the day, their visit schedule, in another means that, in addition to the other ways that they had in place, which was internet-based and internal memo-based, that sort of thing. So they wanted to be able to allow these workers to dial into the application and receive their visit schedule, and then also they wanted to make sure that these healthcare workers actually attended the appointments when they were supposed to, on the days that they were supposed to, because there was an issue that they were trying to resolve, which was some of the field service workers reporting that they had attended appointments and in fact didn't. So if we go to the next slide, you see starting in the top right, we have a health service employee is deployed to a new in-home visit. And let me say that prior to this, and it's not shown on the slide, but the health service employee can dial in, input their information, their ID number, and then the UC Connect application goes out to a back-end database and retrieves the information on the appointments that worker has for the current day and the next day, and then relays that information, speaks it back to the employee. Then on the day of the appointment, again here starting in on the slide, the health service employee is deployed to a new in-home visit via their schedule. At the start of the in-home visit, the employee calls from the patient's home telephone number, and the CXE telephone switch integration then provides that ANI or caller ID data to verify that that worker is actually calling from the correct location. Then the health service employee provides an ID number and PIN. Again, bullet 4, calling party number is used to verify that the employee is at the correct patient location. That's written into a back-end database. And number 5, the attendance data is used to monitor key metrics and build management reports. So the field service employee calls in when they arrive at the appointment, and then at the end of the appointment, they call in again and report that they're leaving. And so there's some information there that, yes, they were at the right place, they were there for this period of time, and it's a valuable management tool for the hospital administration. Moving on to our next vertical, the education marketplace. It's a large university that had a healthcare program. Actually, it was an exercise program where the subjects in the program, they needed to report their daily exercise results and also come in for an occasional appointment with the university staff, people that were running this program. And they wanted help automating both of these. So the first part was the call-in portion of the solution, not shown on this slide, but so these patients would call in on a daily basis and report some information about the exercise that they had performed that day. And then that would go into a back-end database, and the university staff would be able to run reports, make sure people were on track with their program and that sort of thing. And when an appointment was required, then they implemented a Notify Express solution to dial out and reach out to these patients and remind them that they had an appointment scheduled. And as shown in the slide here, we can, with Notify Express, you don't necessarily just have to have one recorded message that you play out to everybody. You can customize the messages on a per caller basis. So the first part of the message, this is the university name, calling to remind you of your appointment. That's would be a pre-recorded phrase, and then we would have some data again that was pulled out of a back-end database about the appointment. When it was scheduled for, the day, month, year, at the time. You could include additional information such as say if it was in a medical organization, which doctor the appointment was with, which location, office number, that sort of thing. And then also offer the call recipients the option of transferring to somebody if they needed some additional information. In this case, they were not doing that. So those are some examples in three of the different verticals, and I think Dick's going to continue to talk about some additional capabilities of the system.
Yeah, so thanks, Marty. As you can see, there's a tremendous amount that you can do with these APIs to develop custom applications to meet your specific needs, and it goes beyond obviously just the traditional IVR applications. There's outcall notification capabilities, really just limited by your imagination and the business needs of the organization. I like that one that was handled the lost pets and getting them reunited with with the correct families. But there's a lot of capability within the CX platform itself without any custom development at all that can meet a number of needs as well. And speech enabling an automated attendant can oftentimes have lots of other benefits, such as dramatically reducing the traffic to operators and to the normal attendants that are handling incoming calls. You see here Ames College reduced traffic by 30%. We've had a number of organizations that have found that a significant percentage of the calls going to the operator were rather than were customers calling in, trying to conduct business or get information from the enterprise, or the organization. The calls coming to the operators were internal people trying to reach other internal people. And they didn't want to try and dig around in their desk to find their directory that has 1,000 names in it. So they just called the operator and said, could you transfer me to Bill Smith? And having a speech attendant allows them to call into a specific number answered by the CX platform and just speak the name of the person that they wish to reach. And the system will then execute that transfer. And one of the significant benefits is if there's a couple benefits to this. If the particular user that they were wanting to reach had, our Find Me, Follow Me application, our personal assistant application enabled for them, maybe they're not sitting at their desk. The operator would just be transferring to their desk telephone. But maybe they're working from home today, calling into the CX platform and speaking their name allows for the first point of contact for that person not to be their desk phone in their office, but to be their home phone, for example, or maybe their cell phone. And the intelligence capabilities of the personal assistant allow that locating of the person where they happen to be, not just sending the call to their desk phone. In addition, we have the ability to segregate, through the speech auto attendant, we have the ability to segregate the directories. So, for example, let me pull up the administrative client for the CX platform. And this is what you'd use for normal system administration. And if I open up the day main menu for the enterprise, you can see it's a speech-enabled attendant with different speech commands available. And the one in order to be transferred to individuals, you notice searches the entire user database. So if they say Bill Smith, it's going to look for all the Bill Smiths throughout the enterprise, not just within a specific department. But we can create a special menu just for a particular department. In this case, it's the sales department of an organization. And in this case, when someone says Bill Smith that they wish to reach, the system will only look at the Bill Smiths that are associated with the sales department. It won't look for Bill Smith anywhere else within the enterprise. So there's a number of capabilities within the platform itself that can also significantly streamline some business processes and some real needs. In this case, for Ames College, taking a lot of traffic off of the operator so that the operator can attend to other, real callers that are calling in, trying to reach the outside callers, trying to reach people within the college, and to do business with the college itself. A couple other examples of applications that could be developed utilizing the APIs, for example, maybe taking your internal website, your intranet, the website that's used just for your employees and the individuals that work for the enterprise. Doing things like being able to access your messages through a click of the button without having to go to a separate interface. For those enterprises that may want to implement desktop access to voice messages and management of those messages without the need to put the messages over on the email server. There's many enterprises that don't want to put the voice messages on the email server, but still provide various different ways to access those messages from a desktop interface. Here, this is incorporated within a separate web interface. We have a web interface that we provide that allows that access, but here's one going within the enterprise's own web page, pulling up a directory and providing a click-to-call application from within that directory, for example, allowing users maybe to manage their mailbox attributes, things like that. The click-to-call from the company directory for internal people, but also taking maybe some other types of applications that have their own APIs available that can be merged with our API to deliver, say, for example, click-to-call applications from your CRM application, whether it's Salesforce or other CRM applications, Microsoft Outlook. This is provided by default. For example, within Microsoft Outlook and Lotus Notes, we provide a click-to-call application for the user's contacts within that. But maybe if you use a different email client, or maybe a web portal to be able to access messages, things like that, or to get access to customer data, pulling up a particular customer and embedding a click-to-call button. You just click that button, and the Call Express platform will initiate that call and connect you to that person that you're trying to reach. So, very very flexible, allowing you to create the applications that are most beneficial to you. And one of the things that we've included within the latest release of the CX platform, version 8.2, with Service 2 applied. So for our existing Call Express customers that are on the line this afternoon, upgrading to Service Update 2, version 8.2, if you have the UC Connect module licensed on your system, we include a couple of sample applications, one of which allows for even more enhanced routing of calls based on whether it's based on caller ID that was delivered by the whether it was delivered by the PBX integration, or maybe by prompting the caller to enter, their phone number, their zip code, an account number, a number of different types of inputs that the caller can trigger, and we can route the call based on that. And this can, obviously be a very cost-effective way to deliver, this type of an IVR application to your callers, and the application is delivered free with each CX platform. That's at version 8.2 with Service Update 2 applied, and allows the calls to be routed appropriately, whether that's to a particular department or routed to a particular call center group, for example. Oftentimes deploying these types of applications on separate standalone IVRs can be very costly, and we give this to you at no cost as long as your system is licensed for the UC Connect module itself. You get this at no additional cost. It's just a matter of programming the application itself. So at this point, we'd like to take a quick pause and take our second poll. So Emily, if you want to put that up.
Great, thank you. And so for our second poll, we're wondering which business process application is of greatest interest to you? Which out of these 5 would you like to use the most in your organization? We'll just wait a couple more seconds here. Okay, it looks like most everyone's voted, so I'm going to go ahead and close this out. And Dick, so for your benefit, because I know you can't see the results, the automated information access for customers, vendors, is at 39%. Presence integration is 9%. The click-to-call is 17%. Screen pop-up information with incoming calls, that's at 30%, and then outbound call notification is 4%.
Very good. Yeah, those are some very common applications that we see, and it's kind of to whet your appetite to some various applications. As Emily mentioned earlier, each of you will be receiving this white paper that discusses more than 35 examples of real-world implementations. We talked about a couple of them today. Marty gave a description of a number of them. But this white paper it talks about a whole variety of different applications that people have used the UC Connect module and the various APIs that we have available to be able to develop applications that have met specific business needs and has made their organization and enterprise more efficient at a very, very cost-effective point. So a number of different verticals. We talked about a couple of these with a single example in each of them, but we have many examples of each of these vertical markets and others to give you some ideas, kind of tickle your brain as to some things that might help your organization out. If you can't wait to get a copy of it, this is available with many of our other white papers and other information about the CX platform and AVST solutions can be found on avst.com. So with that, that brings us to a close of this presentation. But first, Emily, have there been any questions that have been posted that Marty or I can take a stab at today?
Definitely. We do have some questions. The first one, this is just a generic question. Is the presentation going to be available for download? And yes, it will be available. We'll send out an email to all the attendees after the webinar. So the second question, are there any redundancy options that are recommended for the servers?
Well, I'll take that one. Yeah, there are. One of the beauties of the CX platform is that it provides a variety of options for resiliency and high availability, disaster recovery. It's not just, deploying a mirrored system and having two servers sitting there in your data center. We're very unique in the way we've architected the system to provide you with multiple options that are available to you, and many of those are discussed on the website, and in kind of a general format. We talk about them there. If you want to talk about them more in depth, feel free to send an email to info@avst.com, and we'll be happy to set up a time where we can discuss your specific needs and requirements. But the system does provide you with, as I said, multiple options, really so that we can zero in on what your specific needs are for high availability and disaster recovery. But as the question itself indicates, how important it is when you start deploying these types of applications that your customers are going to start depending on for just normal service and normal interface with your enterprise. Having a highly available system is a very, very important consideration. And yes, we do provide really industry-leading options to meet your high availability needs.
Great. Okay, the next question is about the development of these applications. And they're wondering if AVST supports the development or if it's in-house.
Yeah, so we did. Marty's in charge of the team that can handle the development for you here at AVST. If you wish to engage AVST on a professional services engagement to provide that. Or you can do it yourself. I mean, if your folks have the skills available to be able to do that development, they're very familiar and they're skilled within the Microsoft.NET environment. That's one of the benefits of our APIs is that you don't have to learn a new scripting environment. You don't have to learn new development skills. You use the skills that you already have if you're a .NET developer. We operate as a standard third-party plugin into those development environments, Visual Basic, the C languages, things like that. Obviously, you're interacting with a different external resource, that being the CX platform. So you do have to have a little bit of a familiarity with the CX platform in order to do that. A nice thing that we provide you, though, is with each system, we provide you a series of sample applications. So your developers, and we have the source code for those applications, so your developers can open those up and see how the interaction with the CX platform is handled, which can assist them significantly in the developing of their own applications. But we can work with you to in whatever way is best for your enterprise. Both ways are fully supported and available to you. Hiring us to do it, or using your own people to do it. Either way is appropriate.
Okay, great. And then just the last question is, what are some of your most popular applications that you've created?
Yeah, I'll probably let Marty handle that since he's the guy that actually has developed a lot of those, and he and his team have developed those.
Well, I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, many of them are, well, all of them are customized to specific environments. But I would say, things that are providing kind of routine information to outside callers, account information, account balances, order status, order shipment information, things like that, notification. As far as notification goes, notification of certain events within an organization, or to sort of outside, as we saw, to outside to the public at large. And it's really quite a diverse mix. There have been applications that are just used internally by organizations' employees to manage benefit information and get information about their vacation time and things like that, where there is some, I guess the commonality is that there's some information, some data in a database or a spreadsheet, even for that matter, that outside callers, either within an organization or outside of an organization, have a reason to inquire about, and maybe need a method to inquire on that information other than through a web browser. Many of our customers who we've done applications for do also have web, internet-based solutions that provide the same type of information, but they still find that they get a lot of telephone calls who want to talk to somebody and find out, did my order ship and when am I going to get it? And so those are perfect types of scenarios for putting in a custom application using our tools that will be able to handle those calls without actually having to transfer them to a live person and handle them 24 hours a day, essentially.
Great.
And then, of course, as we mentioned, you'll get by just simply attending this, you're going to get that white paper that's going to show you, a couple of, 3 dozen different applications that people have used. So you'll be able to, that should answer that question as well. To be able to give you some examples of some ways that this has been used within organizations.
And thank you for that, Dick. That's a great point. So that's all the questions that we have. And again, we'd like to thank everyone for attending the webinar. And we know you guys have busy schedules, and we appreciate your time and also your feedback. Marty, Dick, do you have anything else to add before we close out?
No, great.
Thank you very much for your time. Yep.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.